Hey yo guys, welcome to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're giving you guys an album review of an oldie, but a pretty goodie. This is an album called An Audio Guide to Everyday Atrocity by Nothingface. Alright guys, so right off the bat I'm just going to mention that this was a request from a friend, and like I said, this is an oldie. This album came out in 1998. Back when the nu metal genre was kicking off and it was taking over like a bad storm. I say bad storm because it actually left a pretty bad taste in a lot of metalheads' mouths. Now for me personally, I jumped right on that bandwagon because I was at that age where nu metal was like the newest, freshest, most awesomest stuff. You know, I was probably between the ages of 11 to 13, around there, when I was really into this stuff. So, you know, I was just, hitting the puberty stage, emotions were starting to go. And nu metal was one of those genres that it kind of like mixed the hardcore element of metal, but it kind of tied in some of that emotion that you hear in like pop music almost. And it made it very relatable. So for me at that age, it was very relatable. It was very soothing and comforting to listen to stuff like that. And this band falls right into that category. Now, unfortunately, I never got to listen to much Nothingface through my years, so this was actually a new experience for me. But you know what? I'm gonna let you talk about what you thought of this album after listening to it for a week, and let us know what you think of it.
So this was a really interesting album to listen to, just because it was, I think, nu metal at its true core. I feel like all of these songs on this album are very, good examples of what this genre will bring you when you listen to it. And when we listened to it for the first time, I was totally on board. I heard, I'm like, holy shit, these guys are out the gate, they're strong, lots of energy going through. It's like, I feel so much when we listen to it for the first time. But then after listening to it more and more, I tried to pick out things that were unique, as we do with the music we listen to, but nothing was really standing out. The three songs I really liked were Goldtooth, Villains, and Breathe Out. I liked Goldtooth because it started out calm, it built up, and then it hammers you, and I'm like, oh man, this sounds sick, it's going in hard. I liked Villains for the same reason. It didn't really start out, as quiet, but it's still,
I really like Villains too.
So it still throws you in
my
there
favorite
as well.
song on the album.
I like how kind of calm Breathe Out was. I don't know, it's just overall, the sound of even all these songs was just really enjoyable, but nothing really jumped out to me really hard. This was 1998. This was when the genre was really getting huge out
Making
there.
a push, yeah.
So then this album was coming around the same time as self-titled Slipknot,
Yeah.
as The Sickness by Disturbed,
Yeah.
all those kinds of albums. So if you try to compare among nu metal albums, I feel that albums like self-titled Slipknot and like The Sickness by Disturbed have the core elements of nu metal similar to this album, but they both really jump out at you a bit more.
Yeah.
I feel this one kind of fell flat in that sense. It's not a bad album. I'm not saying that at all. This is actually a really good album, but it's not really spiking out at me in terms of, I guess, originality.
I kind of felt the same way. I felt like, this was reminding me of a lot of things. Basically, when I listened to it, it brought me back. You know what I mean? Because I don't really listen to this stuff anymore. But it brought me back. I never listened to Nothingface, like I said, but I listened to Taproot. I listened to Seven Dust and Nonpoint and POD and all these other bands. For some reason, never got into Nothingface. But you gotta remember, back then we didn't have YouTube or Spotify or iTunes or anything like that. So finding and listening to music was much more difficult back then. So I never got into these guys. But when I'm listening to this, like I said, it brings me back, but it brings me back to a very kind of generic place in terms of music. And I find it fits in along with the Seven Dust and the Taproots and the Nonpoints and things like that. Bands that were good and had their moments, but never really excelled, never really shined like bands like Korn or bands like Disturbed, So for that reason, it did feel like it fell a little flat. But that's not saying the album's bad at all. It's not. There's nothing bad about it. It's a well-written album. There's some catchy stuff on there, some good riffs, some good vocals. I mean, it's all in all, it's a pretty good and heavy album to rock out to. It really is. But I don't know, is there anything else you want to add? Like, is there any songs you didn't like or anything like that? Because not for me, I liked the whole album.
Yeah.
There was no songs I didn't like.
There was, same. There was really nothing that I heard and said, oh, this one kind of sucks. Everything had its own level of enjoyability.
Yeah.
And there was really nothing that made me want to skip it. So I could put this whole album on and be fine with it. It just didn't really, like, wow me.
Yeah, in contrast to that, there was nothing that I loved about it. I wasn't like, oh my god, did you hear that?
Yeah.
You know, that was impressive. But I think that might be just due to the fact that it's 20 years old. You know what I mean? Like, did it age well is another thing, right? We're talking about a pretty old album now. So back then, if we were doing two toe tags back in the 90s, or early 2000s, would we have gotten a toe tag back then? Perhaps. But now, I don't know. I think we should go straight to ratings now, because I think I've said everything I need to say. Let's rate this.
Alright, so this album, you know, as we've already said, we both enjoyed, but we didn't love it. So I really have to give props to this album for it. Did keep with the times a little bit. You can still listen to this album today, and as you said, rock out to it.
Yep.
I feel that the music is, like, good enough. It's at a level where you can listen to it and still enjoy it. But, you know, as kind of already pointed out there, I really don't feel it's two toe tag level, or just toe tag level, just like singular toe tag. So this album, I'd have to give a 6, because it's not super exceptional, and I don't really feel it's on the doorstep of a toe tag. But it's not bad. It's not bad. And is it something I would really go out of my way to listen to? Not exactly, but if I got nothing to do and I'm like, you know what, I'll check out some Nothingface, then I feel like it would be enjoyable at least. So yeah. I give it a 6. How about you?
All right, well, you know, I feel similar about, you know, I just don't think it withstood the stand of time. You know, I think, like I said, if we reviewed it back in the day, we would have had a slightly different feeling about it, because music tastes and genres are all so different back then. Music has evolved a lot since then. But we did review The Sickness by Disturbed. We gave that album 2 toe tags. It's on our list. And if I was going to compare, you know, a new metal album to another new metal album and have them stacked up against each other, I think that this album falls quite a bit shorter than that album does. For that reason, I also don't think it deserves 2 toe tags, and I also don't think it's quite on the doorstep of 2 toe tags yet, because there's nothing really that stands out that much. If there was 1 or 2 songs that screamed out at me, I might have given it a little higher score, but I'm going to match your score and give this a 6 out of 10 as well. I think that's a fair score for this album. But like I said, I really think that score would be higher if we were reviewing this, you know, 15 or 20 years ago, when this music was kind of the in thing. But now it's not the in thing anymore, so our musical tastes are different. We're kind of over it, you know. So it does bring back some nostalgia, brings back some memories, and you can put it on and rock out to it. But at this point in time, I'd much rather listen to a lot of other things that are a little more evolved than to put something like this on. So that's pretty much it. You get a 6 from me, you get a 6 from TV Fish. But it was an interesting album. I'm really glad that we took it on and listened to it, because like I said, I never really got into Nothingface, and now I can at least say that I've given at least one album a chance.
Yeah, I mean, right? I never knew anything about this band before it was requested, so I'm like, oh, who are these guys? We listened to it, I'm like, oh, pretty good, I guess. And also, forgive me for forgetting the guy's name, but the singer actually passed away earlier this year. You guys can let me know in the comments what his name was, because I can't remember what it is, unfortunately. But rest in peace to him. So that's that. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. So thanks for the request to review this oldie but goodie. And we got lots more coming for you guys. We got reviews, reaction videos. We have a special end of year video coming for you guys as well, so be on the lookout for that. But that's it for this video, so be sure to leave a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Comment below and let us know if you like the new metal genre, and if you are fans of Nothingface. But that's going to be it from us for now. I'm Vile Self. I'm TV Fish.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Later.